On behalf of Georgia Southwestern State University, we're happy to be here and happy all of you are here with us. As we were coming into Americus, I couldn't help but notice the fact that the flags were flying at half-mast, and that's a great patriotic sight as far as I'm concerned. So if it meets with your approval, I'd like to take just a brief second in honor of those who died on that day and those who have died since because of it. So if you will, please join me in just a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Hello, and I'm welcome committee here, I guess you'd call me. I'm Rudolph Patterson, and I'm president or chair of the university's foundation. And we're happy that all of you are here. We appreciate everything that you've done to make this occasion a possibility. Georgia Southwestern is enjoying a period of tremendous growth and excitement. It's a great community, and I say community because it is a community comprised not only of students, but faculty, staff, alumni, and the people of Americus, Sumter County, and the surrounding counties. We are all bound by a shared unique experience at Georgia Southwestern and by our aspirations for it. Today, you and many others who could not make it today have made this a wonderful occasion, a wonderful tribute to a really, truly great man, Honorable Griffin B. Bell. You, by your presence, and many others like you, have also made this a great day of honor and recognize his help in finalizing this facility and the golf course as a part of Georgia Southwestern's future. It's fantastic to think about what this building and facilities hold for the future. Tomorrow together we have constructed a new foundation to build on at Georgia Southwestern. It will enhance and expand Georgia Southwestern's traditions of excellence in education and venturing out onto the perimeter that people would not think was possible. The future of this school is just beyond belief as far as those of us who are working with the school are concerned. We thank you very much for coming today. We welcome all of you. Your presence is an important part of this dedication to honor a truly great man who made this dream come true, our friend, our supporter, and our total allegiance go to Judge Griffin B. Bell. At this time, we recognize Fulton Jenkins, a member of the Board of Regents of the University System of the State of Georgia.
Thank you, Rudolph, and thank you for serving as the chair of this foundation. You've done a great job, and we appreciate all you do for this school. As you see from the program, my job today is to offer thanks, and I'm happy to undertake that task. I hope I'll be able to do it. I'll pull out my notes here and hope I don't have to look at them too much, but there's some names that I want to be sure that I remember as I go through this. First of all, I want to issue some thanks to the people who served on this dedication planning committee. If you look at your program and turn it over, you'll see on the back the people who have been responsible for this event. It's always a mistake, I think, to try to pick out particular names, but there are two that I want to mention. First, Arthur Clark. Arthur is the person who has really put this facility in first-class shape, made all of the physical arrangements for us, dressed up the grounds, and Arthur, we thank you very much for what you have done. The other person I want to acknowledge is not on the list. She's not officially on the planning committee, but Paula Williams is President Blanchard's executive assistant, and she has been very much responsible for helping us with the invitations, for receiving the responses to the invitations, and for keeping up with the money, which is also very important. So Paula, we thank you very much for what you've done. The second group of people I want to recognize and thank are all of you. First of all, for being here today, for being a part of this very exciting event, and also to all of you and those of you who are not here who have made contributions in honor of our friend Griffin Bell. Judge Bell, we sometimes get a little bit hung up on numbers, but I know you are interested in numbers. We had 281 people here today, or who are here today, who've signed up. So I think that is a great tribute to you. And on the money side, sometimes you're not supposed to mention money, but I want you to know that we have raised to date $231,000 in honor of Judge Bell. Now, let me let you know that the books are not yet closed. There may be some of you out there who have issued pledges. We are counting on those pledges being fully satisfied. And there are a couple of people, I'll mention Bob Steed in particular, who've only given $1,000, and his wife's name, Lou, is not going to be on the dedication plaque because he hadn't given that extra $500. Now, having told that, I know before I end my remarks, he'll be up here with that $500 check. There are several others of you who are in that same category. Now, all of you, I think, know Griffin Bell. Be assured that he's going to look at this list. Just a warning. Everybody here is special today, and it's difficult, of course, to try to recognize any particular guest, but there's one group of very special family members that I want to recognize. Judge Bell, you've had many honors in your life, but there's none as great as the honor of this family that you have here today. And I think that is a real tribute to you. First of all, Nancy Kennebrew Bell, Judge Bell's wife, is here. Nancy, would you stand up and be recognized? Thank you for that round of applause. On the others, if you'll hold your applause until all have been introduced, I would appreciate it. Griffin Bell Jr. is Judge Bell's son, and his wife, Glenda. And their two children, one son and one daughter, and Judge Bell's grandchildren, first Catherine Bell McClure and her husband Christian. They have two children who are not here with us today, but congratulations to you on that. And then Griffin Bell III and his wife Jessica. Jessica is not with us today. She's looking after Griffin Bell IV, so I think she's got a good excuse, but you all are such special people, and we thank you. On a personal note, I hope you'll allow me to do this. I want to recognize and acknowledge Mary Bell. Mary Bell, as you know, was Griffin Bell's first wife and Griffin Jr.'s mother. She passed away from cancer in September of 2000. She was always a big part of Judge Bell's life, and I want to recognize her also. Would you join me in recognizing all of these people? My final thank you is to Griffin Bell himself for what he is and for what he means to each of us. I'm certainly not going to try to list all of his accomplishments here today. We're all friends here, and you know those accomplishments. Rather, what I would like to do is to recognize what he means to each of us. To some of us, Judge Bell is our law partner and teacher. To some of us, he hired us. To some of us, he's recommended us for various positions. And Judge, I want to say a special thank you for, in making those recommendations, that you didn't tell everything that you knew about the people you were recommending. Some of you are his hunting companions and golfing partners. And some of you in this room are his clients, his legal advisors, or he is your legal advisor. Some of you are members of, or he's a member of your board of directors. Some of you, he's a member of your board of trustees and your chief fundraiser. So all of us here have different connections with Griffin Bell. But the one thing that we all have in common is that he is our friend, he is our mentor, and he is our inspiration for integrity and excellence. Judge, you can't know how much you mean to all of us, especially in that area of intelligence excellence, and integrity. We thank you very much for that. We are all in your heavy debt. It's a debt that we will never be able to fully repay. But hopefully by our presence here today and by the contributions that we are making in your honor, let me emphasize honor and not memory. Not your memory is what I'm saying, your honor. And thank you so much for everything you have done. We appreciate that. Would you join me now in expressing our appreciation to Griffin Bell? Just one other comment. Judge, your half-wit, half-lawyer law partner, Bob Steed, has said that the greatest thing about a standing ovation is you get to adjust your underwear. That's not original with me. I hope all of you have had an opportunity to do that. Thank you very much.
For those of you who know Bob Steed, you will have to join with me what's going to happen to him. I would hate to be in his shoes, because wherever he goes, wherever Bob Steed may go, Felton had better look out, because Bob always gets back. We really have so many dignitaries and important people here and great folks. I wish we could just all stand up and introduce ourselves and say what I do for a living and what I've done for Georgia and what Judge Bell has done for me. But it would be here for a long time. So we're going to just say welcome to everybody. If we can, we have two gentlemen who came here with a special mission, Representative Mike Kokos and Representative Bob Smith from Oconee, Watkins County, big state of University of Georgia, I guess. You guys want to come up and just take a very brief minute?
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. And in Athens, this time of year, Judge, we call it God's country. But today, y'all, America's in this golf course is God's country for our friend, a hero of America and the world, and in Georgia. And Representative Chokas and I have a resolution that we're not going to read, but we'd like to present to you on behalf of the great state of Georgia for all your service to Americas, to Georgia, to America, and to the world. And we'd be honored to hand you this, sir.
Well, I would like to add a few words, and that is the only way I can best describe Judge Griffin Bell is to quote Louis Grizzard, "American by birth, Southern by the grace of God." And God's grace surely shined on America's Georgia all these many years with Judge Bell's service to this community, this state, and this nation. Again, thank you on behalf of the great state of Georgia. And thank you all for all being here. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Let me add my 2 cents by saying thanks again to all of you for being here. You cannot imagine what a great day this is for me, for Georgia Southwestern, and this community. And what a great group, and obviously what a great man that we've come here to honor. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't give a special thanks to Felton Jenkins, who to me is Regent Jenkins. In his role as the chair of the planning committee, he has worked tirelessly, and he stayed on my case constantly. to make sure that this event came off today. So again, thank you, Regent Jenkins. Griffin Bell was born on a cotton farm in rural southwest Georgia on Halloween Day almost 90 years ago. It is likely on that traditionally eerie, horrid holiday there was talk of ghosts, the realm of the occult, and the mysteries of the supernatural. However, it's doubtful that that moment anyone ever dreamed that the real miracle, the true magic, and the most extraordinary event of the day was the birth of a child who would eventually rise to fame, fortune, and power, using his common sense genius, his raspy yet irresistible charisma, and his incomparable power of persuasion in ways that literally helped reshape the South, the American nation, and the world. How extraordinary that a young man whose father lost everything to the boll weevil would one day represent such financial behemoths as Exxon, Texaco, Dow Corning, and the Howard Hughes estate, single-handedly engineering legal settlements that totaled in the hundreds of millions of dollars. How extraordinary that a boy who grew up steeped in the customs of a racially segregated South would one day use the power of the federal bench and his fearlessness, his intimidating control of the facts, and his calm, convincing logic to force traditionally white schools across the South that had continued to ignore the Constitution to open their doors to African Americans. How extraordinary that a young man who had only 14 members in his graduating class at America's High would today have a network of friends that extends across the state of Georgia, the United States, and the rest of the world. How extraordinary that a farm boy dressed in bib overalls, a frayed flannel shirt, and weather-beaten brogans would one day be recognized as the best-dressed public official in Washington. How extraordinary that a country boy who for years was never given a nationally normed test and only discovered late in his teens that he was exceptionally intelligent would one day breeze through Mercer Law School and eventually be recognized as one of the most brilliant trial lawyers and federal judges of the 20th century. How extraordinary that a boy whose world was not much larger than a few counties in southwest Georgia would someday represent the United States at various locations around the globe, in one case playing a lead role in major negotiations designed to encourage the Russians to withdraw from Afghanistan. How extraordinary that a boy who learned to write in a one-room schoolhouse would, during the course of his legal career, write over 1,000 opinions, author numerous speeches and scholarly papers, and play an important role in over 3,000 court cases. How extraordinary and yet how befitting that a boy who grew up in a home where right and wrong were not separated by an ambiguous gray would one day restore ethics to the Justice Department, institute major procedural reforms, and reestablish the department's credibility, in the process earning a reputation as one of America's greatest attorney generals. How extraordinary that a young man who idolized Abraham Lincoln would one day be compared by pundits to the man he so admired, a man of humble roots who blossomed into greatness, one born to lead, and a person of principle for whom justice always trumps politics. Extraordinary indeed, and unlikely. But after 90 years since that eventful Halloween, Griffin Bell has become a household word in Georgia. And while there are many who hold and have held the title of judge in this state, there is only one who is recognized everywhere as simply the judge. Georgia Southwestern is proud to count Griffin Bell as one of its own and sees in his extraordinary career a story that parallels its own evolution. Like the judge, Georgia Southwestern was born some years ago with little fanfare and with no particular intimations of future greatness. It was, at its birth, a small agricultural and mechanical school training a handful of future farmers, cooks, and mechanics. Similar to the judge, the institution rose from humble roots to become something much more notable than what its beginnings presaged, from a two-year school to a college and finally a university. And thanks in part to the support, influence, and contributions of the judge, the university is now on the verge of moving to new heights. In many ways, the story of Griffin Bell's life is the story of Georgia Southwestern and an apt metaphor for its aspirations. Thus, it is appropriate that we recognize this extraordinary alumnus by naming for him something of the institutions that is highly visible, of significant value, and important to the university's mission, distinctiveness, and future. Given the judge's lifelong love of golf, the significant role he played in acquiring the golf course for the university, and the influence he has wielded in persuading the PGA that Georgia Southwestern would be an ideal setting for the state's first and only professional golf management program, nothing we have would be more appropriate than the Golf and Conference Center. So today we gather here to recount Judge Bell's achievements, laud him for his public service, and thank him for his many contributions to the university. More importantly, we have come to dedicate this facility in honor of a man who throughout his long and illustrious career has never forgotten his roots, his friends, or his alma mater. The Georgia Southwestern community is both honored and pleased that the judge has allowed it to recognize him in this way. For years to come, this golf course and conference center will stand as a monument to a man named Griffin Bell, who he was, what he became, and what he did for this state, his nation, and his college. In this way, it will help to preserve the legacy of a most amazing person. More importantly, however, the Golf and Conference Center will remind students and all those who come this way for generations to follow that brilliance is not the privy of expensive private schools, that greatness can emerge from humble beginnings, and that Georgia Southwestern will never be merely ordinary, because it will be forever linked with its most extraordinary alumnus. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give you the Griffin Bell Golf Links and Conference. And with that, I would like to give you the man of the hour, the judge.
Unaccustomed as I am from speaking in a wheelchair, I'll do my best to say a few words. What y'all have said to me today, Felton and Rudolph and Dr. Blanchard, reminds me of a story I told the day I left the Justice Department. With all the television coverage you get in this country, I told them a story that was my father's favorite story, about the widow saying to her son of a dead husband, "Look in the casket and see if it's really your father the preacher's talking about." That was carried on all three networks at the time. We didn't have anything but three networks. Probably one of the few things that's happened to me in my life where I got on all the networks at the same time. Senator Hooks is here. All right, this is a man who restored our cemetery after the tornado hit us. And he did such a good job with the prison team that work out the cemetery on a full-time basis that they called a team to Atlanta to restore the main cemetery in Atlanta. And that was, you should see all the shrubbery that Senator Hooks has caused to be planted at the cemetery, something we're very proud of here in this community. Our council doctor told me that every day I should have another project to work on. So I've been trying to get a museum started, get something that the whole community can work on together. And we badly need that, and Jim Bishop was arranged for us to be part of the Board of Regents project called the Classic. The Classic, that's the...
Archway.
What?
Archway.
Yeah. Anyway, we are one of the two places in South Georgia now that's been favored with that, thanks to the Board of Regents. And they will probably put that, they haven't decided to do it, they'll probably put that in the program that they're getting up. And we badly need in this community something that everybody can join together in. I'll tell you just a few words about the history of this club. In 1913, this was one of the, what they call an A&M school, agricultural and mechanical, which would be about like the technical colleges now. And they sold off the land to build a 9-hole golf course, sold it off the campus. During the year since 1913, the country club that was created bought up some land around it. Should have bought much more than it did, but we have to do what we have now. And when I moved back down here, I got interested in what they were doing, and they we had a contest on who was going to get the property if we disbanded. And we had to disband because we couldn't get any more members. And the race problem was so bad. So we had they decided instead of giving it to the Methodist home, which is for South Georgia Conference, which is right across the road, they'd give it to the Georgia Southwestern Foundation. Well, that turned out to be a very doubtful move, and they later found out that it should have been given to the college directly, so that we could get state funds to maintain some of the property, like this building, for example. So we had to figure out a way to get it then transferred from the foundation over to the college, and that was done. And then while we were doing that, we were trying to get this PGA program where they train golf pros in management, because most of them end up as club managers. And PGA itself has sponsored these university programs. It's a 4-year program, a degree, and it turned out they were going to only create one more. Georgia and Alabama, neither Georgia nor Alabama have such a program, and most of the rest of the country was covered. So we set out, they had set out to get this, and we were having trouble getting it. And Dr. Blanchard and I, and Sean Murray, who's a manager of golf, went down and met with the PGA in Florida, and sort of got back on the track. And recently, 2 weeks ago, we got a letter saying our application had been approved, and what we need to do now is pass an inspection. They're sending an inspection team in December, and it's scheduled to go before the board of the PGA in January. And we will use this building as part of the classroom structure. We're going to improve the golf course with everything we do geared to a new golf course. And we've got a plan. We go 6 holes at a time without closing any part of the golf course. It'll stay open. And all that's going on, and it almost doubles the size of the campus. Georgia Southwestern campus as it presently exists, and they're running out of space. And we got to build a bridge across the railroad track, which we got set up to do. And everything just is on goal. It's been a remarkable thing how everybody's pulled together on it. And I especially want to thank the Board of Regents for, thank you. I forgot to introduce you, I will in a minute. I hadn't seen you back here before, another regent. The Board of Regents has it on their schedule to increase the population of this university by a very sizable number. It's because all the schools in North Georgia are filled. West Georgia, Georgia Southern, and Kennesaw. And the plan is, I was talking to Bob Hatcher about this, the plan is, if it hadn't been put in effect, we hope it will be, to give us the names of people they can't take that they think were good students. And then Dr. Blanchard will try to recruit them. And it'd be well to put the University of Georgia on that same list, give us a larger list of people to recruit. But it's not beyond the realm of reason we go from 2,500 to 10,000 in a reasonable period of time. And well, and we got a new president, Dr. Blanchard, and going up 400 this year, so my number is not outlandish. It can probably happen. Judge Alamo, where is he? I want to introduce Judge Alamo. He's one of my best friends. He's a federal judge, and he's a senior federal judge now, but he's 1 year younger than I am. and he's still going. He's in better shape, my man. But this is a very fine community. Dr. Blanchard, almost by himself, is reconnected to the community. He came here and said, I'm going to make this into a university town. And he's done a great deal in just a year and a half. And we're well on the way. We also have one of the technical colleges. One of the first two that was built in Georgia. And it's one of the over 30 technical colleges, only two that have dormitories, and one's here, one's up in North Georgia, Clarksville. So that's about the story of what I've been able to do and participate in. I haven't done anything, but I participated in it. Makes me a little nervous when people give me so much credit for things, but I appreciate it. It's not that I don't appreciate it, but I think I'm overthanked. At first I thought I was over-honored, and now I think I'm overthanked. I thank all of you for coming, and if we could start out by recruiting students for the golf course with just 10 full scholarships, we'd get off to a great start. And any of you if you like education and you like giving money for scholarships, this is a worthy cause. It will help something. It'll help the whole community. It'll help the most impoverished part of the state, and solve a big problem. Help solve a big problem. It won't solve it, but it'll help. And this would certainly be something you might put on your gift list. I know a lot of you keep gift lists. At least I do, and that's something we need. I know a lot of people look for worthy projects. I sometimes get letters from people asking for a recommendation of something new to give to. And so this is a project to put on your gift list and on our wish list. It'll come out the same way. All right, well, thank you very much for coming. I know a lot of you had to come a long ways. Appreciate all the Columbus people, all the Atlanta people, St. Simons and Sea Island people, all the local people. I see a lot of familiar faces out there, and I thank you again for coming, and thank you, Dr. Blanchard, for putting this on. I think it's a good start. Felton didn't tell you we have a matching money for almost all the money we raised, and so but it's going to cost about $75,000 for each scholarship, and we got to get up some more money. But anything you give will be much appreciated. It will not go to waste. It'll be invested by the foundation, and the overhead is low, and they'll do a good job. And so it'll be guarded and watched to be certain that they're getting a fair return on the money. I'm on a foundation already board where I have to watch it, and I'm not on this foundation board, but I know how the foundation runs, and one of the main things is not only who you give money to, but how to raise more money and how to invest the money. Investing is a big thing. Some of the university Board of Regents foundations make far more on their investments than some of the other foundations do. And I hope we could maybe connect. Rudolph Patterson is a great new chairman of the foundation, that spoke first. He's been on, this is the third foundation I think he's connected with. But I think if we could connect up with the top 3 Board of Regents foundations and find out who is the best on investing and get them to be our investment help, the top 3, it would be a very good thing. I give that advice I have not been asked to give. nor am I being paid to give that advice. I always try to throw, as they say in Louisiana, where I was a federal judge for a long time in the South, as you know, they use a term called lagniappe. It's French and it means a little something extra. He said it started with merchants who would sell you a suit of clothes, but they give you a tie to go with it. I was given that as an example of what lagniappe meant. So I'm throwing this in as a little something extra. Thank you very much again.
Be seated. Just a few closing remarks. Judge Bell, thank you so much. You are not overthanked and you are not over-recognized. We appreciate so much the opportunity to be here with you today. Just a couple of closing announcements. We have a tremendous amount of food and 3 refreshment stands. 1 out this way, 2 back this way, and we hope you'll partake of those. The second thing, I mentioned it earlier, but our books are still open. We, as Judge Bell has said, and as I mentioned, we still need to raise some additional money. We have some foundation requests outstanding. We hope they'll come through in later part of this year, but all of you are encouraged to spread the word. The final thing is I want to point out to you that those of you who have given the minimum amount, there is a very nice plaque with your name on it, Judge Bell's picture, that is here for you to pick up. We hope all of those who are here, who are eligible to pick one of these up, will pick it up and take it back so we don't have the cost of mailing it to you. These will be, are they out in the alcove? This is a very nice thing, and I think you'll really be pleased when you see it with your personalized name on it. So with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for coming.